My name is Meryanne Loum-Martin. I'm a Parisian lawyer who became an accidental hotelier in Marrakech, a city I fell in love with in the late 80s. But this land, Jnane Tamsna, was bought in 2000 and in a record time from scratch. I built the hotel, my husband designed the gardens, and we created a space which is not really about being a hotel, but being a cultural space which happens to have nice rooms and very good food. This is how the idea of creating the Diaspora Salon started. A place where Black excellence, from last time we had 32 citizenships, I just counted. And so a place where people would be free to connect, to break the silos that history, oppression and slavery has always been very careful about creating between our communities. So the Diaspora Salon is a place of freedom, is a place where incredibly brilliant, wonderful, loving people meet and make new friends.
Hey, my name is Mampatu Nyong. I'm a professor, an artist weaver, and I also happen to have the absolute luck. I'm so grateful to be one of the co-curators of the incredible Diaspora Salon with my brother, the incredible Claude Grunitzky. I love you.
Here we are together. It's been a wonderful few days.
Absolutely.
And I'm Claude Grunitzky. I live in New York. I'm from Togo, but this place in Marrakech, Jnane Tamsna, where we hold the Diaspora Salon now every year, because the next edition is going to be from March 21st to 24th, 2027, so you better come, is a place where we can come from all over the African diaspora, where Afro-descendants can be together with Africans from the continent like myself, and people who grew up in Europe as Black people, people who grew up in the Caribbean as Black people, people who are African American, Afro-Brazilian. We could all come together with our allies who are not Black but who do care about the liberation of Black people. We could come here and be free at Meryanne Loum-Martin's place, her wonderful resort, which has become ground zero for the reinvention of Blackness for us.
Absolutely. Understanding, I mean, when you think of the salon, we often forget that one of the most important, literally intellectual art, civil rights movement for the Black diaspora, the negritude, started in a salon. And when we think of the negritude, we know the men, right? We know Senghor, Damas, Césaire, but we forget, and actually we chose to forget that this movement started in a tiny, tiny living room with two sisters, the Nardal sisters, who had a salon. So the Diaspora Salon is taught into this, this lineage of meeting as a family. It's a gathering of artists, financiers, economists of all walk of life, all age. It's transgenerational, transnational, transcontinental. And I often like to say that what happened, oftentimes happen into the creases, the juice, the meat of what we eat here, what we do is not just in the panels, but it's in the walk from the breakfast to the panel. It's in the, sharing the bus from the hotel to one of the events that we attend, because the salon is held also in the hills of 154, the African Art Fair. So it's really this act of living together for 3.5 days, being salon, but also being in community and not just in these intellectual exchanges, but in the act of just, spending times almost like 20 hours a day together, 20 hours a day together,
And in the spirit of spending time together and getting to know one another, it's really a convening where we feel that a lot of people who should know each other don't actually know one another.
I mean, this happens to me so many times that I see two people, like for example, Meryanne and Madame Taubira. I mean, like in what universe they didn't met before here, and this happens so many times.
And it took the salon to bring them together, to bring us together, and a lot of our friends and allies who really care. And what you said about the lineage of salons, speaking about the Nardal sisters in Clamart outside Paris, I could also take it back to 1923 and Charles S. Johnson, who had his own salon in Harlem, and it was a catalyst for the Harlem Renaissance because you would have people like Zora Neale Hurston, writers, intellectuals, journalists, people who really feared that if they did not find themselves in community, the gains would be erased.
E depois que briga acaba voltando. Tem gente que canta porque está amando. Quem não tem amor leva a vida esperando.
You know, memory is such an interesting thing because it's not solid, it's not stagnant. Memory is always being shaped, I believe, and memory is dependent on who's remembering. So if you talk to an enslaver and you talk to an enslaved person about the memory of that time, you have very different memories. And I think I say that because I want to highlight how much of storytelling that is shaped by memory is also thinking about whose memories are we interacting with.
Merci à Meryanne de nous donner l'hospitalité avec autant de grâce, avec autant de présence, avec autant d'intelligence. Et Meryanne, en fait, s'inscrit dans une lignée de femmes qui ont permis, en ouvrant des espaces, que les intelligences se rencontrent, que des débats aient lieu et que parfois de grands courants littéraires et politiques naissent. C'est ce qui s'est passé pour le courant de la négritude, dont on connaît les chantres masculins. On sait moins que ces hommes se rencontraient dans le salon des Sœurs Nardal, et que c'est le fait que ces femmes, ces Sœurs Nardal, aient, à Clamart, à côté de Paris, aient ouvert un salon et accueilli tous les dimanches, je crois, des hommes intelligents. Elles avaient leur propre intelligence. C'est ce qui a permis, ce qui a ouvert le champ pour ce grand courant qu'est la négritude.
But we too can come out of it. And so we wanted to really just make a point also, if you can, Heather, about how to look for that silver lining, how to look and to be hopeful for what's next.
I get this question of what gives you hope all the time because my book is very clear and brutal about our history and the dynamics, and I find racism under every rock, you know, the environment, education, healthcare, housing, right? But I am a very hopeful person, and even in times like these, where the racist right is winning elections all over the globe, and where we are seeing changes in laws that will impact people all over the world. I'm thinking now of the destruction of the State Department and USAID and foreign aid. I mean, there's blood on the hands of the richest man in the world. But our ancestors had to face so much more with so much less. And look what they did. And look where we are.
And you have an audience here of primarily women.
Primarily black women.
Black women, correct. And if they were to begin at this stage in their life, where do they start?
I think the key is what we spoke about earlier, the tribe. Identifying the tribe. Identifying the people who are truly going to be in your corner.
Reflecting on time and time and the novel, that he wanted to push the part of our imagination through this form that allows us to concentrate time, and that the form of the novel specifically allows the sensation and even the certitude that time can be condensed such that we are at once the child, the person in the present, and the person of the future. So he's using the novel as a form to create this sense of the profundity of time, the deepness of time, and that the alchemy of the human imagination allows us to feel and to exist in these multiple registers of time at once.
I always answered in France just to annoy people. They're like, where are you really from? I'm like, slavery. Transatlantic slavery. Oh, you know that book that your boy wrote, you know, the Code Noir, the Black Code? Yeah, that one. That's where I'm from. Yeah. Just follow the boats. You'll find all the great music.
Because the thing is, and this is for all of France. The diaspora is made of human, but it's not a human in itself. It is something that is made of human nature, and because of that human natureness, it is also composed of these three lives: the public, the private, and the secret.
Alors, si on s'intéresse à la dimension géométrique de la diaspora, on pourrait dire que ces trois vies s'articulent autour du départ, du séjour et du retour.
It's always an uphill battle to depict the multidimensionality of Black life. It's always been, it still is. It's still more difficult to get a book, like I did a book on African American love letters. That's a harder book to get published than if I wanted to write about shaking my butt or whatever. So the issue is less invisibility than it is in the lack of balance and the lack of balanced portrayals.
And the first conscious memory I have about myself, of receiving a compliment, of someone saying something about me, was, my God, that's a pretty Black baby. When the hard drive of myself starts, the welcome message is that reverberating through my head.
When we're talking about power, let's call it what it is. It's white supremacy.
Exactly, white supremacy.
It's white supremacy. And when we talk about white supremacy, everyone in this space knows, we're not talking just about Nazis and neo-Nazis. We're talking about a system.
Yes.
We're talking about a system that hasn't had the name. It's just been what it is, and that system is called white supremacy, and we're all a part of it. And so how does passing ultimately mean that we're investing in those structures of power? We're allowing them to continue to flourish by taking advantage of the way that lighter skin affords opportunity?
That is that I think we are moving into a world of small technology, where your imagination, everyone in this room can build something that they want to see, and that could be frivolous and fun. Or similar to your background, Veta, of solving problems, you can be sort of obsessed and upset by something, and you can create a solution. And you don't actually have to know how to code. You can, as long as you, and eventually, you can sort of put it in natural language, and create it. And it's also not just technology. Their sort of data sets are now going to start to scan the real world. So sort of world building and spatial data, which again presents new concerns, but that also means that the ability for you to create, for us, all of us to create, connect ourselves, to create even stealth technology, where we're, how do we build things that are inherently private and secure that connects Black people?
Atravessei 7 montanhas pra chegar no mar, porque nasci para bailar. Abri veredas e cancelas pra poder passar, porque nasci para bailar. Danço bolero, danço samba, danço tchá-tchá-tchá, porque nasci para bailar. Rimo Raimundo com a virada desse mundo, vou no raso, vou no fundo, mas um dia chego lá. Rodo bandeira, dou pernada, dou rasteira, toco surdo e frigideira, atabaque e ganza, porque nasci para bailar, porque nasci para bailar, porque nasci para bailar, porque nasci para bailar. Atravessei 7 montanhas pra chegar no de frigideira, atabaque e dançar. Porque nasci para bailar. Porque nasci para bailar.
First of all, thank you for all of this brilliant crowd. Thank you to my phenomenal co-curators, to the phenomenal speakers. And I wanted to tell you that we are starting a book club, which is going to be called the Diaspora Salon Book Club. I'm in touch with a wonderful guy who lives in Belgium. He's Zambian something else, 2 African citizenships. And we are going to have a meeting once a month on Zoom, and people can just sign up. So it will be about books of authors who have come to the Diaspora Salon, and also other authors who have come to Jnane Tamsna, because we host a lot of authors. So it would be a way to continue conversations. And what is wonderful about his book club is that you don't need to have read the book, but you need to be interested in the subject. So you have something to say. So I hope that many of you will sign up. So we have various ways to keep in touch until the next Diaspora Salon, which I have the dates thanks to Turia. Turia is the founder of 154, and next year 154 will be from the 17th to the 21st of March. And so we start on the 21st of March to the 24th. So get ready to come for 1 week in America. And I hope that you had a nice dinner, and we are going to continue once you have finished your dessert with the concert next door.
Meryanne, the Diaspora Salon is almost finished, a few more hours. What's going through your mind right now?
I don't even know how to express my level of ecstasy, of happiness. I mean, even today, just at breakfast, the conversations were so amazing that someone walked in and I said, oh, here the average IQ is 210. And mom said, no, it's 400. I mean, the level of the powerful, the level of the conversations were out of this world, you know? And it is the essence of where we have arrived, even though the hurdles that were put on our paths by history everywhere. And to look this morning, I mean, Stanford, Princeton, Harvard, Oxford, all of these brilliant minds talking to each other. And even if people didn't go to the same kind of university, everybody's so strong, so powerful, so creative, so meaningful. Oh my God, I'm in heaven.
Let's talk about some of the topics that we tackled. Many were very emotional.
Yes.
Many were very personal.
Yes.
There were moments that you would expect, though, when people are so passionate about certain topics. Everything from AI to the realization of Black figures being erased in history, and now movements to make sure that people are not forgotten. What stood out in your mind, and as the main curator, I know Mom and of course Claude were co-curators, but this is your vision. And what topics did we deliver on the topics?
I have to say, so it's my vision, but Mom designed the topics and invited all these phenomenal speakers with Claude. And I think it's very important, some people might think or were maybe expecting that I would be the one moderating, but I don't reach their ankles. I mean, their encyclopedical knowledge about everything is not mine at all. And I think this is why it's a wonderful team. Mm-hmm. And about the topics, I think they were deep, meaningful. They opened the door to very, very powerful conversations. Mm-hmm. And what was interesting is that after the first day, some people said, "Oh, it can't be better than that." And every day people were saying, "Oh my God, it's even better than," so I think it all comes from also a certain time in history, mm-hmm. where so many people are reminded falsely that what we have achieved is fragile, mm-hmm. and what other people have achieved or not achieved at all is permanent. And I think it's very important that we have these moments where we gather and we remind each other how strong we are and how invincible we are, mm-hmm. because we are still in a position which is much easier than what our ancestors went through. And even though when they were in shackles, their mind stayed free. And it's because their mind stayed free that we are as strong today.
When we met in November, we were here at your hotel and you told me about the first Diaspora Salon, and I raised my hand and said, please include me in this. And for me, it was an extension of what I've done my whole life in my career, but it was so much more powerful, and that I was allowed to express my own personal feelings. And what we heard so much here was people talking about being in a sacred ground, in a safe space, to be able to talk about things that we have in common and having no fear involved. And that's what you created for all of us. How does that make you feel?
Well, I think I had an idea and now I realize the impact of the idea. I just had an idea because I keep on going to places where I witness the brilliance of Blackness. I mean, these people, when I go to the vineyard in August, I said, oh my God. And I go to other places. There's someone who left here, he was here the first time, who's the most brilliant Senegalese entrepreneur ever. And everywhere I go, I see people from the diaspora who are absolutely exceptional. And what I also witness is that they don't know each other. When I go to the vineyard, I'm in this party where you have the most brilliant mind, and they're all American, and I'm the only one not American. And I go somewhere else, and I'm also the only one which is not totally from the rest of the citizenship. And it's about time that we have spaces where we can connect, because we're not lacking of excellence, we're lacking of access, we're lacking of connection. And as long as we don't do this, we are playing the game of the enslavers and the oppressors, which was about making sure that we cannot help each other, that we do not connect to each other. Mm-hmm. And at my very humble level, I would like to create and develop a space where, people meet and can help each other. And in fact, last year we had 27 nationalities. There's an American man who has kept in touch with apps. He couldn't come this year, but he kept in touch with each person. And he has seen them because he travels a lot. And the purpose is not only to gather, because it's very important for us to know each other, but the purpose is from next year to sponsor HBCU students to come and to have access to and to see that, first of all, there are Black people outside of the US, and first of all, and second, to see that excellence is across all of the diasporas, and also to see that we are, I say we because I'm older than them, we are there to open the doors for them. We are there to make them understand that even if some people are trying to threaten them and to make them feel that their horizon is shrinking, if they connect to the wider Black diaspora, it is the opposite, and their horizon is expanding.
And I'm the product, of course, of Howard University, and it was so significant to me that your desire to reach out to these young people who have maybe never had an experience of knowing that there are no limits for them. And I think through the Diaspora Salon, that's one of the goals as well. I know that you have personally financed so much of this because it's so dear to your heart. But at the end of the day, for it to be sustainable, it has to also be sent more out into the universe. You need help with this. Am I right?
Yes. And I have there's a 501c3 hosted at Marriott organization, and we definitely need sponsors. And I think, so there's two types of sponsors. There are the people who do it from their heart, and there are people who do it out of business mind. When you consider, and there's been some very serious studies about what the black dollar represents, McKinsey and other people, when you realize the power of the black dollar, which is not taken into consideration for all sorts of, I would say, initiatives trying to break our morale. Mm-hmm. But people can hear me, and I'm telling it, I'm sure, in the name of all the black people. No one is going back to the cotton field. So they better get used to the fact that we are the most educated people. And black females are super educated. And no one is going back to wherever our ancestors were. So what we have to understand is that, as Heather McGhee was saying, it is not either them or us. It's us going forward together. And what I would really like is that the Diaspora Salon becomes a place which is a proof of that. And it's an event by us, about us, but open to everyone. And the idea is that, last year we had people from Holland and Germany and Italy and England not looking like us, but fascinated about the conversation. Mm-hmm. And so that's what it is about. People understanding that we are all in this together.
And I don't know if you've had a chance to look at your book at all, of people writing messages to you.
No, I haven't yet.
And it's something you're going to sit down with a glass of wine, maybe two, and look at. But the lives that you have touched, I think that's one thing also that should be stressed, is that by participating, whether you're here on the ground with you or you're someone who is, out of the generosity of your heart, giving, there's something that we get back. Mm-hmm. The fulfillment of knowing we're doing something that's right.
Exactly. It is right. It is right because of the plight of our ancestors. This is a minimum that we can do. Mm-hmm. This is how I feel. This is a minimum that we can do. And also because I believe that hospitality, the way I practice it, the way we practice it as a family, is a platform for transformative experience. And this is how we will continue to be doing the Diaspora Salon. And the third edition has its dates, and it's from the 21st to the 24th of March next year.
And before I let you go, people want to know, where did this beautiful woman come up with this idea? Was it from being a child? Was it just somewhere along the way? Like, who's Meryanne?
Well, it would be a long story, and we don't have the time, but I would say that I come from a very cosmopolitan childhood, a very international background, where freedom and the interest for culture was like, I had a mother who would wake me up every morning from the age of 7 to 10 in particular, because we were living in an unexpected country, I would say. Open your eyes, open your ears, and remember everything. And when you're being hammered this, it makes you think that you have a lot to learn from the world, you know? And I kept on keeping this in mind. And I think that I'm just someone who happens to have, I never thought in the box, I don't think in the box, and I happen to have a foot in many Black diasporas. So what I witnessed all the time is that people are not connected, they don't know each other, you know? And it makes no sense, for example, to come back to HBCU students, that they don't know that this person who is going to give them an interview and might have hidden his Ku Klux Klan hood below the desk, he doesn't need to go there for this interview. Maybe in Senegal or in Ivory Coast, there is an internship which would bring him as much as what this silly guy would bring him in the US, you know? And I think that the diaspora has to understand that we are international. And African Americans need to understand that there are opportunities in Africa, there are opportunities in Europe, there are opportunities beyond their own borders, you know? And I think this is really important because people like Americans. Abroad, people like African Americans. Their identity is associated with something, of course, history and slavery, but beyond that, it's associated with art, with literature, with jazz, with music. There's a lot of festive elements, you know? And I would love that our little event grows into a connection platform.
Can I come back next year?
Oh, I have to think about that. Of course, you are more than welcome. And you know, what really is incredibly dear to my heart is that you were here with your daughter, and in November, the guest of the hotel, and I explained to you what I was working on, and you said, I want to be part of it. And we have so many people here like this, who are people I would not even dream about asking. If I had looked at your resume, I said, oh, I can't, she's too much, she's too famous. And all these people are extraordinary. And they just, at this time in history, everybody understand that we have to be together and move forward together and give access to the new generation. Most of them who didn't have the privilege we had when we grew up, most of them need to know that it is also possible for them.
Não quero mais uma gota de pranto por causa de um amor fugaz, nenhum só desencanto que tire de minha paz, que eu tanto custei e penei pra alcançar. Não quero não, mais nenhuma saudade doendo em meu coração. Eu já não tenho idade pra mais uma ingratidão. Uma nova ilusão eu não vou suportar. Não quero alguém que me faça promessa nem jurar de amor também, que já não me interessa aventurar com mais ninguém. Eu não quero razão para me magoar. Não quero enfim.
Hello? I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good, I would call her. Wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat and a 6'4" parlor. I wish I was like 6'9" so I could get with Leoshi, cause she don't know me, but yo, she's really fine. You know I see her all the time, everywhere I go, and even in my dreams I can scheme a ways to make her mine. Cause I know she's living fat, her boyfriend's tall and he plays ball, so how am I gonna compete with that? Cause when it comes to playing basketball, I'm always last to be picked, and in some cases never picked at all. So I just lean up on the wall, or sit up in the bleachers with the rest of the girls who came to watch they man ball. Dag y'all, I never understood black, why the jocks get the fly girls and me I get the hood rats. I tell them scat, skittles, kabobble. Got hit with a bottle and put in a hospital for talking that mess. I confess it's a shame when you living in a city that's the size of a box and nobody knows your name. Glad I came to my senses, like quick, got sick to my stomach, overcome it by thoughts of me and her together, right? So when I asked her out, she said I wasn't that type.